In the previous episode, we saw that a few people had kidnapped Alisha. They also brought Chael there and started beating him brutally. Seeing this, Alisha got very angry and told them that if they didn't want to die, they should let Chael go. After saying this, she tried to use her magic but found she couldn't. She then realized it was because she was wearing a collar that was preventing her from using magic. At that moment, a thug came up to her and taunted, asking if she would kill them. He then punched Alisha, knocking her down. Chael, seeing this, told her to leave him and escape, informing her that this was the north side of the school. But before he could finish, the thugs started beating him badly, saying that he was useless to them since he couldn't provide them any money, and that they might as well kill him. Hearing this, Alisha became enraged and kicked one of the thugs back, challenging them to face her if they had the guts to kill Chael. She then told Chael to run, but he replied that he couldn't as his legs were broken. Hearing this, Alisha felt helpless. The other two thugs then mocked their injured partner, calling him pathetic for losing to a girl and telling him to get up and capture her. The thug attempted to catch Alisha but was again knocked down by her kick. Then another thug attacked her with a sword, but Alisha dodged and noticed some knives lying behind her. She used one of the knives to cut herself free and declared she wouldn't die nor let Chael die. Seeing this, one of the thugs attacked her again with a sword, but Alisha dodged and elbowed him hard in the stomach, knocking him out. Chael was shocked to see Alisha had managed to take down the thug without killing him. Another thug tried to attack her, but Alisha dodged and struck his knees with the sword, causing him significant pain. Chael was surprised again, observing how Alisha, even in such a dire situation, refrained from crossing the line by killing them. The third thug then began attacking her with his sword, but Alisha skillfully dodged his every move and eventually broke his sword, terrifying the thug, who ran out of the storage room. Alisha threw a piece of wood at his legs, tripping him up, then approached him with a knife, ready to attack him. But just then, someone used magic to stop her. It was Liz. She questioned Alisha on how she could do something so terrible. Chael tried to explain to Liz that Alisha was protecting him, but Liz insisted she saw Alisha attacking the thug. Seizing the opportunity, the thug pulled out a knife to attack Alisha, and everyone was horrified as Alisha couldn't move due to Liz's magic. However, at the last moment, the prince arrived and stopped the knife with his bare hand, knocking the thug out. Soldiers then arrived and captured the kidnappers. The prince apologized to Alisha for being late, and she noticed he was injured but brushed it off. Alisha explained to the prince how the thugs were going to kill Chael, and the prince thanked her for her bravery. Henry arrived to tend to Chael, and Alisha, feeling relieved, collapsed from exhaustion. The prince wrapped his coat around her, and Albert, seeing this, felt reassured. Liz then told Albert that Alisha had tried to kill the thug, shocking him. Chael defended Alisha, explaining that the thugs attacked them first and she had protected him. Albert advised Alisha that even in self-defense, she should try to handle things peacefully without resorting to violence. Alisha, feeling frustrated, asked if he would let his family die in front of him without raising his sword to protect them. Albert replied that he would not, leaving Alisha shocked and questioning his pride as a knight. Liz then lectured Alisha on the dangers of violence, but Alisha countered that these people were going to kill her, to which Liz said that if she had waited and trusted her friends, she wouldn't have had to resort to violence. Alisha then noticed the prince looking out for her and felt her heart race, wondering if he liked her. But she reminded herself that in the game, the prince was supposed to fall for the heroine. The next scene showed Alisha waking up with the prince beside her without a shirt, making her blush. She was flustered and tried to figure out what she should do, with conflicting thoughts on whether she should try to win the prince over for herself or let things happen as they should. Just then, the prince started waking up, and Alisha tried to quietly leave the room. The prince wakes up and asks Alisha to give him her pendant, saying, "Look, the kidnappers had stolen it, but I managed to get it back. Let me put it on for you." Hearing this, Alisha steps forward, and the prince begins putting the locket on her. Just then, he decides to take advantage of the moment and leans in to kiss Alisha. Alisha, also caught up in the moment, seems ready to go along. However, just then, Jill enters and asks Alisha if she's awake. Embarrassed, Alisha quickly pushes the prince away. Henry arrives and tells the prince, "I don't mind if you are developing a relationship with my sister, but at least get her permission." The prince replies, "But I didn't touch Alisha." Jill then notices and says, "Then why aren't you wearing a shirt?" The prince doesn't have an answer. In the next scene, everyone is sitting together. Alisha asks Jill if he's okay, to which he replies that Henry has healed him and also healed her and the prince. Henry mentions that Alisha looked exhausted, so it was fortunate that she regained consciousness on time, otherwise, who knows what the prince would have done. Hearing this, both the prince and Alisha feel very awkward. Jill then shows Alisha his broken tooth and asks if she can fix it with magic. She replies that she can't, so Jill asks if he can keep it, saying he's heard that teeth hold memories, and he wants to remember this day, even though it was frustrating for him to feel so weak and unable to help her. Alisha reassures him that it's not his fault, the thugs were after her, and he just got involved. Jill responds that he still wants to become stronger so he can protect her. Hearing this, Alisha is happy and tells him he can keep the tooth. Henry observes all this and remarks that Jill will grow up to be an incredible man, and the prince agrees. Then, Alisha asks if they found out who was behind these incidents. Henry says, "Yes, it was a student from our academy named Neil. He's one of Lee's followers. When you insulted Lee's, he was glaring at you." Hearing this, Alisha becomes enraged and declares she won't let him get away with trying to mess with her. But Henry says, the prince has already taken care of him, and the royal family has punished his entire family. The prince then speculates that his father, the king, might have been involved in this incident, suggesting that he might have wanted Lise to handle the situation as a way to train her as the saint. Alisha is shocked to hear this and says, "So, are you saying the king ordered this?" The prince explains that he suspects the king arranged for an observer to inform Lise of Alisha's whereabouts, hoping it would help her grow as a saint. Jill gets angry and asks if the saint role is really that important. Alisha replies, "Yes, because legends say the saint will save the kingdom, and I am the perfect test for Lise to prove herself." Feeling awkward about everything, Alisha reflects that the prince is likely destined to marry Lise, as the saint must marry the prince for a happy ending, even if he likes her. But the prince, looking at Alisha, says he's not interested in destiny, he's already chosen his own path. Jill, hearing this, gains respect for the prince, admitting he initially doubted him but now understands his feelings for Alisha. The prince asks if this means he has earned Jill's favor, to which Jill replies affirmatively, though he jokes that he's just a commoner, so shouldn't the prince punish him for speaking so informally? The prince pats his head, saying that status doesn't matter in matters like this, they both want to protect Alisha. Jill thanks him, while Alisha feels increasingly conflicted about what to do. Later, Alisha retreats to her home library, vowing to become even stronger so that incidents like today will never happen again. She tells herself that since events are deviating from the game, she needs to be prepared. Jill finds her looking upset and asks why. Alisha explains that she can't get past level 80. Jill encourages her, saying that reach ing level 80 at her age is impressive, and even Grandpa Will has advised her not to rush. But Alisha insists that she can't be satisfied if she wants to be a true villainess. Jill teases her, suggesting that instead of being famous as a villainess, she could become famous as the prince's wife since he wants that too. Alisha blushes and says she wants to be remembered for her own achievements, not just as someone's wife. At that moment, a maid arrives and tells Alisha that her father wants to see her. Her father informs her that she will no longer be Lise's watcher. Alisha protests, saying it's unfair since being a watcher was her ticket into the academy. Her father reassures her, saying that when she's 15, she can enroll normally and doesn't need to take so much on at her age. However, Alisha is determined to continue, pleading for one more chance. Her father reluctantly agrees but sets a condition: she must reach level 90. Though it's difficult, Alisha accepts, vowing not to back down. In the final scene, Alisha is seen training intensely to reach level 90 in a secluded area, And this is where the episode ends.